Keo began his lesson with a gentle smile, acknowledging the shared struggle with anxiety among those gathered. Anxiety, he began, is like a turbulent river that threatens to sweep us away, leaving us feeling overwhelmed and lost. But what if I told you that anxiety is not always an adversary? What if, instead of resisting its currents, we could learn to ride them, harnessing its energy for our benefit? The crowd listened intently, curious about Keo's unconventional perspective on anxiety. In the depths of anxiety lies an opportunity for growth and self-discovery, Keo continued. It's a signal from within, urging us to pay attention to our inner world, to explore the root causes of our discomfort, and to cultivate greater awareness of our thoughts and emotions. He shared the story of a young monk named Hiro, who struggled with crippling anxiety until he embraced it as a teacher rather than an enemy. Hiro realized that by leaning into his anxiety, he could uncover valuable insights about himself and his life, Kyo explained. Instead of trying to suppress or escape from it, he practiced mindfulness, observing his anxious thoughts and sensations with compassionate curiosity. As Kyo recounted Hiro's journey to liberation from anxiety, the audience hung on his every word, captivated by the possibility of finding peace within themselves. Anxiety, my friends, Kyo concluded, is not a curse, but a call to awaken to our true selves. By embracing it with courage and compassion, we can transform it into a guiding light on our path to inner peace and fulfillment. With newfound hope in their hearts, the audience left Kyo's presence, inspired to embark on their own journey of healing and self-discovery. Allow yourself to become fully present in this moment, letting go of worries about the past or future, Master Kyo encouraged. As you meditate, observe your thoughts and emotions with gentle awareness, like a distant observer watching clouds pass in the sky. Remember, dear friends, that anxiety is a natural part of the human experience. It is not something to be ashamed of or feared. By acknowledging its presence and learning to work with it, we can cultivate greater resilience and inner peace. As the group meditated under the cherry blossom tree, a sense of calm gradually descended upon them. Master Kyo watched over his disciples with a sense of profound compassion, knowing that their journey toward inner peace had only just begun. In the embrace of stillness and silence, he whispered, "May you find the peace and clarity you seek." And with that, the group dissolved into the serenity of the present moment, their hearts and minds attuned to the gentle rhythm of their breath and the timeless beauty of nature. But instead of succumbing to panic, Tyro remembered the teachings of his ancestors passed down through generations of fishermen. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and centered himself in the present moment. With each breath, he felt the strength of the ocean beneath him and the resilience of his own spirit. He reminded himself that just as the storm would eventually pass, so too would his fear and anxiety. And with that newfound sense of calm, Taro navigated his boat through the tempest, guided by the wisdom of his ancestors and the steady rhythm of his breath. As Taro emerged from the storm, battered but unbroken, he realized that he had not only survived the ordeal, but had grown stronger because of it. The challenges he faced had tested his courage and resilience, teaching him valuable lessons about himself and the world around him. And from that day forward, whenever anxiety threatened to overwhelm him, Taro would close his eyes, take a deep breath, and remember the wisdom of the storm. They understood that, like Taro, they too had the strength and resilience to navigate the storms of life, guided by the steady rhythm of their breath and the wisdom of their inner selves. And as they returned to their daily lives, they carried with them the knowledge that anxiety was not their enemy but a teacher, leading them ever closer to the shores of inner peace and self-discovery. The salmon struggled and fought against the net, desperate to free itself and return to the freedom of the river. But the more it struggled, the more entangled it became, until it was completely trapped and exhausted. The fisherman, blinded by his desire to catch the salmon, did not see the suffering he was causing. But then, as if touched by a sudden realization, he stopped and looked into the eyes of the struggling salmon. In that moment, he felt a deep sense of empathy and compassion for the creature caught in his net. With a gentle hand, the fisherman carefully untangled the net, freeing the salmon from its captivity. And as the salmon swam away, its silver scales glinting in the sunlight, the fisherman felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. And so it is with anxiety, the monk explained to Taro. When we try to fight against it, to suppress it, we only make it stronger. But when we approach it with understanding and compassion, when we acknowledge its presence without judgment, we can begin to untangle the knots that bind us. Taro listened intently to the monk's words, feeling a glimmer of hope ignite within him. Could it be that the key to overcoming his anxiety was not to fight against it, but to embrace it with compassion? As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the tranquil waters of the river, Taro thanked the monk for his wisdom and guidance. With a newfound sense of peace and determination, he set off towards home, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that he had the strength and resilience to overcome them. The salmon, gripped by fear of its impending demise, struggled vigorously against the current in a desperate attempt to break free from the net. But with each effort, the net constricted tighter around it, intensifying its agony. Just as despair threatened to consume it, the monk continued, the salmon had an epiphany. Instead of fighting against the current, it surrendered to the natural flow of the river, moving with it. By doing so, the salmon was able to liberate itself from the net and navigate back to the open sea. The tale of the fisherman and the salmon imparts a profound lesson, the monk added. When confronted with anxiety or fear, we need not resist them vehemently, akin to the salmon struggling against the current. Instead, we should learn to embrace them, acknowledging their presence without condemnation or judgment. He cultivated the practice of deep breathing, observing his thoughts impartially, and surrendering to the ebb and flow of his emotions. Just as the salmon found freedom by yielding to the river's current, Taro's story spread throughout the village like wildfire. His fellow villagers, moved by his journey, sought his counsel on managing their own anxieties and fears. With compassion and insight, Taro guided them towards greater self-awareness and inner peace. Thus, the once tumultuous fishing village underwent a profound transformation, evolving into a sanctuary of tranquility and unity. Thanks to the ancient monk's wisdom and Taro's resilience, the villagers learned to embrace their anxieties and cultivate serenity within themselves, fostering harmony within their community. The tale of Taro and Master Keo imparts a powerful lesson. Anxiety need not be our adversary, but rather a catalyst for personal growth and self-discovery. By cultivating understanding, compassion, and inner tranquility, we can harness anxiety's energy to enrich our lives and deepen our sense of fulfillment. Taro's narrative serves as a poignant allegory for our journey with anxiety, illustrating that instead of resisting our inner turmoil, we can embrace it with empathy and grace. Similar to the salmon navigating the river's currents to freedom, we too can find solace by surrendering to the wisdom of acceptance and resilience. Furthermore, the story underscores the significance of communal support and collective empathy. When we confront our challenges with unity and empathy, we foster a more harmonious and compassionate society for all to thrive in.